So something that I find very interesting about Mexico is how spiritual they are. And because I travel so much and I see many, many different worldviews and all that kind of stuff, like I'm always curious to see what is going to be the thing that actually captures a nation. And last time that I was in Mexico, it's actually very, very common. They have, and it's getting more common, which is something I'm finding, I just don't know what to think about it, but I think we can capture it in a good way if the church actually shows up. But outside of my hotel where I always stay, and it's right beside the church where the Aztec temple is, all that kind of, or was, or the big square. Right there they have open witchcraft going on now, all the time. And some people say it's like touristy, but when you actually go and walk by it, it's not touristy at all. Like there's people there with full-on witchcraft symbols all over the ground, and you can tell that they're packing like, woo, like, they know what's going on. And last time I was there, they had just huge crowds worshiping the moon, because there's the sun god and the moon god. At that place, I was the moon god temple, and so you see it and you think, is this a cultural practice? And then you look out there and it's like, wow, this really isn't. Like they're not even dressed up. Like there's this one crew where I was standing on the edge of the hotel and I was just watching this, and there's like all these people dressed in white and they're all just worshiping and singing and going around in a circle. Then you go literally half a block up, and there's people there who are doing like the actual, like the Aztec witch doctor stuff. So they're dressed out and everything, and it looks like gnarly. Like you walk past them, like, don't kill me. But they look amazing. But you can go there and you can ask them to do a spiritual cleansing on you. And so they burn stuff and they spit water on you literally, you know, and they hit you. I watched this one guy, and this guy was hitting him in the back of the head, and he was trying not to laugh, but it was kind of entertaining. But I see that, and I see the desperate need that humanity has for a spiritual experience. And I know that's going to work in Mexico, but at the same time I know it's going to work everywhere else, because us as tourists will go down there and we say, this is cool, like let's be enlightened, woo, you know, and let's take part in this. But what would happen if the church wasn't ashamed of who they actually are? What would happen if we weren't ashamed of like expressing our spirituality, of expressing the supernatural element that we hold so true to? You know, what would happen if we actually went out there and said, no, we can actually offer spiritual cleansings along as these guys, you know, and understanding that, well, maybe you'll get judged, but trust me, like these crazy people over there, like they look like nutcases, you know, so they're getting judged too, but they're not ashamed of it. And so I see that, and I just see this drive. What could happen if we believe in what we believe in? You know, what would happen if we stood at a street corner and maybe use different words, you know, and didn't say like, ye repenteth, shall ye, or whatever, you know. But what happens if we say, no, we can offer you inner peace. We can offer you a spiritual cleansing. We can offer you the interpretation of the reoccurring dream that you've been having, you know. And this is what I do. I love this stuff. But I saw that, and I saw just the need that we have. What would happen if we were unapologetically spiritual? You know, instead of trying to offer the world what we think they want, what would happen if we just were ourselves? You know, and so that's just something that I always take away from Mexico. You know, it's such a beautiful country. It's a vibrant country. The history is crazy, but so is ours. You know, and I love being able to take the good from that and saying, okay, let's offer them reality. You know, let's not change them, but let's offer them Jesus and see what happens. Let's love them. Let's give the world what the world wants. Freedom, peace, love, joy, all this stuff, especially now. Like, let's give it. Let's just do it. God.
That's all.
That'll be a good ending. So I just came back from South Africa, and that is a journey. We'll just say that much. I think it took me 56 hours of travel time to get down there. So, but I went to a place called Durban in South Africa. Never been there before, obviously, so that was really exciting. And I was there with really, really good friends of mine, Julian and Katya Adams. They have this amazing prophetic ministry called Frequency. And we're, just quick becoming even closer friends with partnering up to go take over the world. So they brought me down for one of their first prophetic conferences in the city of Durban called Mercy and Miracles. And to me, Mercy and Miracles, two of my most favorite things of all time. I didn't know this, but like I knew there'd be like people from all over Durban there, but it ended up being like leaders from all over South Africa came for this thing. And so that in itself was just like, wow, amazing blessing. But what happened there was so much was poured out for the restoration of charisma, so to speak, the restoration of the gifts of the Spirit. Because what I didn't know on this one is that a lot of people had come into Durban and really, really hurt the church. So the people who were more, I'm ministry oriented rather than I actually want to help someone and like, look at me, let's get testimonies and then leave. It drives me up the wall. So there'd been a lot of hurt, a lot of misunderstanding, manipulation, all that kind of stuff. And so it was kind of like walking on eggshells coming into this thing. But thankfully since I didn't know that, I didn't walk too carefully on eggshells. But what the Lord did in this meeting, we got testimony after testimony after testimony back of like ministries being restored, hope being restored. I was talking with some people, they said we were getting ready to actually give up on our dreams because we thought, nah, these are never going to happen. And they said we came to the meetings and our dreams are restored. We're going after this stuff again. Destiny is restored. And it was just amazing to me to watch what can happen when you come into an environment without an agenda other than let's all meet God together. That's my agenda. Obviously, we're going to talk about mercy. We're actually going to talk about miracles, but I don't want to force anything. And to me, that's just, it's my favorite thing. All over the world, can we create an environment for God to be God? Can we allow Him to actually lead? Can we allow Him to do the restoration and be okay if we step outside of it? And it happened, and it was so much fun. Like to me, that was a blessing. It was just such an incredible blessing. I came back and I told my pastor, I said, I think I finally hit deeper than ever before while I'm here on this earth. Of being able to watch a church become alive again. It was vibrant already, but to step into another aspect of their destiny, not just one church, but many churches, and not just many churches from Durban, but many churches from all over the nation. And I was able to meet like movers and shakers of this place. I met some of the most famous musicians, literally, of South Africa, and I was able to prophesy over them, and I prophesied over them before I even knew who they were in traditional style. Like, here's what God's doing to you, and it turns out they're like famous. So did that, and there was this one meeting that I treasure this meeting already, where it was after the conference, after we did all that kind of fun stuff, did the church stuff, some business guys wanted me to meet with them, so I figured, okay, let's go and meet with them, and we thought maybe 5, 6, 7 guys, and I was super relaxed for it, didn't really prepare anything because I thought it was just going to be kind of like a conversation. We go into this guy's business and there's maybe 35 people there, all with like significant businesses. Not the small ones at all, but the big boys, shall we say. They were all in there, and again, some of the more famous folks and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And I was reminding myself, and God, the consistent prophetic word over my life is that I will prophesy over kings and leaders. So I'm like, it better work right now, because right now all I have prepared is let's have coffee together. But I spent probably a good hour just prophesying over them, like corporately, saying, there's a big battle that's going on in South Africa right now. There is, with corruption. The current president, he's literally stealing millions and millions of dollars and putting it into his own pocket. And the bureaucracy there, it's just insane what's going on. And you're watching them destroy a nation, literally. But it's not too far gone yet, But what would happen if this is one city with one grouping of business guys? What would happen if they could stand up and say, we stand against corruption, we stand against poverty, we stand against the negative aspects of our nation, and no, we get to stand here as kingdom representatives and not as business leaders who fund the church. Like, that just drives me nuts. But as business leaders who are leaders in our own right, who can say, God has blessed us, God has given us a skill, God has given us as a gifting, so let's go fast, let's go hard to redeem a nation and stop this tide of corruption that's sweeping everything, So it was really, really cool to see that, and just to see the potential that's going to go on there. And they've asked me to, I teased them a little bit. They said, Kayle, would you consider coming back? And I said, absolutely not. And just like totally straight faced, no, I won't consider it. And then I paused because they're all like, what? And I said, I promise you I will. I don't even need to consider it. I will come back. We're going to come back and walk with you so that we can see an entire nation change, because I've never seen anything like that, of the potential for a significant move. So I'm so excited to see what's going to happen there. You know, I'm so excited to see what's going to happen there. And we'll be telling you those stories in the coming months.